Good evening, happy Friday, and welcome back to Last Call, where you don't have to be drunk to participate, but it certainly helps. And tonight, we're taking a spin on the cosmic treadmill to talk about The Flash. Yes, this whole Ezra crap salad, but also the Arrowverse, Smallville-verse, John Wesley's ship, and a Ryan Reynolds film that almost was. So top off your glasses, get comfortable, and let me know what you're sipping on in the chat. The Canarble Wagon will roll right after this. Connie, you did it again. You bought me another drink. But this time you didn't tell me what the drink should be. So I'm picking a personal favorite. Can you guess what it is? Give me a second and I'll give you a hint. Thank you again, Connie Cleary. In the meantime, if any of you would like to buy me a drink, the link is in the description below and pinned to the top of the chat. Tell me what drink you'd like to buy me and, if you want, and if you're brave enough, a song you'd like to hear me sing. Thank you, and salud.
Dry martini.
Oui, monsieur.
Wait. 3 measures of Gordon's, 1 of vodka, half a measure of quinoa lily. Shake it over ice, and then add a thin slice of lemon peel.
Yes, sir.
Salud. Yes, a Vesper martini. Not with quinoa lily, because they haven't made that for years. So, of course, it's a Coca Americano. And I prefer Bombay Sapphire as my gin, but that's just how I take it. And never shake a gin drink. Okay, that's why it's so clear. It's a Bond drink, but that gives me my choice of Bond songs, right? And last week I did From Russia with Love. No, was it last week?
Last week you did Tequila Sunrise.
Last week was Tequila Sunrise. So 2 weeks ago I did, because it was a White Russian, I did From Russia with Love. So I could choose any Bond song, and I chose the one from my favorite James Bond film. On Her Majesty's Secret Service, we have all the time in the world. We only have 2 hours. We have all the time in the world. Time enough for life to unfold all the precious things love has in store. We have all the love in the world. If that's all we have, you will find we need nothing more. Every step of the way will find us with the cares of the world far behind us. We have all the time in the world just for love, nothing more, nothing less, only love. Every step of the way will find us with the cares of the world far behind us. Yes, we have all the time in the world just for love, nothing more, nothing less, only love. Only love. Thanks again, Connie. Let me plug back in so that I can bring in my partner in life, my partner in crime, and the bouncer for this joint, Netter of Netter's Network. How you doing, sweetie? And what are you sipping on?
I'm doing great, and I half expect you to say, that's good eats.
And that's good eats. Yeah.
I am just very glad the work week is over. I've had a very challenging week, and I'm currently sipping on Kahlua and cream, but then I'll be switching to water.
Made for you by my favorite bartender, you. Because apparently I made it too strong last time, so.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be a glass of Kahlua with a drop
Well,
of cream.
yes, and you are something of a lightweight, so I mean, let's be fair.
On purpose.
Yeah, you know, but as you always tell me, I don't have to get you drunk. Speaking of drunk, what are you drinking, Aged Boomer?
Oh, I got myself a cherry Coke in a tiny can.
In a tiny can, one of those little single serving
The little
size
ones, yeah.
They're adorable.
'Cause I have to work in the morning.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, you got to be careful with that, that hard stuff you've been drinking lately. I mean, you got to watch yourself. Yeah. But, yes, so although we have all the time in the world, you don't. I understand that, so we will try to keep it to 2 hours tonight. But
I've been reading the Bond novels.
Have you really?
Yes, or listening to, I should say. But
Well, yeah, no, I know.
And I learned something that apparently Bond did not like American gin when it was given to him when he was in New York in this one book, because American gin has more alcohol in it. It's a higher proof.
Okay, interesting. That is interesting, because I know that Quina Lillet is a little bit stronger than Coca Americano and some of the other, dry vermouths that you can get here in the States. So he was kind of making up for it. But as I recall, and I'm not sure because I'm just getting ready to restart my reading journey of the James Bond novels. But my recollection was that Shaken and Not Stirred doesn't actually appear in the books. That's a creation of the films.
No. It's in Casino Royale.
Is it really?
Yes, he gives the specific orders to the bartender. It's funny, I remember hearing one podcast at one time, and they were saying that the bartender smiled at receiving this, and he says, oh yes, because bartenders like it when you give them, really specific instructions on how to make your drink or something, but it's...
Yeah, I mean, my experience with bartenders has been if you give them a drink they don't know, they get interested, and usually...
Okay, so he was right and the podcast people were wrong. Okay.
I mean, it depends, right? It's kind of up to the author. He creates the character.
Bond had created this drink. He was looking for a name. That's when he asked Vesper if he could borrow her name to call it a Vesper.
Exactly. This is a creation of, for all intents and purposes, Ian Fleming's. And a lot of speculation has been that this idea of him creating this drink is Bond is just, fuck it, I want what I want, This may not be typical, but it's what I want. So,
Yeah.
And there's probably something in that because I know that James Bond is a composite character of people that Ian Fleming actually knew. So I'd like to know where that came from. I'm guessing that was probably inspired by a real person. But
It might be in his biography. I've been reading up some interesting things. Apparently, the Bond novels have always gotten into trouble, even in the past. Like they were actually, I think some of them were banned in Ireland at the time because of religious reasons and stuff.
Yeah, I guess I could see that. So I have a complicated relationship with martinis. So there is the Vesper martini, if you are a James Bond fan. There's also the more traditional martini, because my grandfather was a martini drinker, which got me started. And the more traditional martini is a little bit salty. You usually put an olive in there. I like garlic olives. But the Vesper martini specifically is a little bit sweeter. It's got that lemon twist in it, so it's got that fruitiness to it. And if you're going to bother putting a lemon twist in, of course you curl it and squeeze it out so that that essence gets in there, and a little bit goes a long way. And it actually is really yummy, but it's what you're in the mood for. And tonight I was in the mood for this. Otherwise, I would have gone for the slightly saltier martini. And I don't know. I would have probably done like a Dean Martin song or something like that. But anyway, let me real quick say hi to the chat. I was doing really well until I had to go live. So I have. At least in the chat, said hi to at least some of you guys.
I got you covered. I said hi.
I know you do. You said the hi, sweeties, to everybody. So Big Al presents. Have a great stream, my friends. I'm assuming you're still here with us, Big Al. But when you leave a comment like that, I don't know if that means you're just stopping by to say, hi, have a great stream, I won't be here, or have a great stream, I'll be back in a second. But either way, I always love seeing you, Big Al, and I will see you tomorrow on Netter's Rewatch. Adega Outlaw, I guess he's lighting the flame, saying this is a hot stream, I don't know, something like that. And of course, Netter of Netter's Network. Hello, love of my life. I love you too, Netter. You are why I do everything that I do. Pacific 414, good evening, everyone. Let's see. Sir Torrin Clegane, good evening, everyone. And of course, then we got Deleted Scenes dropping people's links and saying hi to everybody, because he is one of the most awesomest blue wrenches in the YouTube sphere. David Pensek, good evening. Last call with Troy Pacelli, Aged Boomer, and Netter's Network. David is good people too. Oh, that's right. Thank you for reminding me, David. Happy birthday, Deleted Scenes. I'm sorry I couldn't make it to your stream. I have stretched myself way, way, way too thin. And of course, the lovely and very encouraging Lady Mist is here. Welcome, welcome. And let's see, all saying hi to each other, which of course is super encouraging. Keely Chow, hey everyone. Let's see, who else do we have here?
Did you say hi to Evelyn?
And Adega, I'm guessing you're quoting me, my favorite Bond on Her Majesty's Secret Service. Yeah, so at the time that Casino Royale came out, I had said that On Her Majesty's Secret Service was my favorite until I saw Casino Royale. Then when I saw that Casino Royale was the first and only good James Bond from that particular run, I have gone back and said, you know what? On Her Majesty's Secret Service is still my favorite.
Skyfall wasn't bad.
I honestly haven't watched it.
Okay.
I have all of them on DVD.
Yeah.
But I haven't watched them yet. So I will. I absolutely will.
Now, is the Casino Royale that we have the one with Woody Allen?
Oh, no.
We don't have that one, actually.
No.
We probably should get that one, just
to
be completists.
No.
And because of the way the way I created my my collection, box set with the custom covers. I've got room in there, so I could definitely. I've got room for. I've added Never Say Never Again, which isn't in the mainline James Bond canon, but I got it, so I put it in there. Yeah. And I should probably get the Woody Allen just for the hell of it. Netter likes it. Don't poo-poo it too much. Netter likes it, and I understand it's funny.
I'm just going to say, there was from what I had heard, Orson Welles and Peter Sellers hated each other on that set.
I can imagine. They couldn't be in the same scene or whatever. They had to be filmed separately
and have stand-ins, I guess. That's how bad it was. Apparently Peter Sellers was hard to get along with, period, from what I'd heard. He was married to Britt Eklund, I believe he was.
Ooh, lucky man. Britt Eklund. It's like her breasts are afraid of the dark.
I only like the movie because it's that bad.
It is that bad. It is that bad. From what I've heard, I don't. If I saw it, I don't remember it. So we will have to get that to rewatch
David Niven's in that.
Yes, he actually plays James Bond, right? Everyone claims to be James Bond,
that's
but
the thing. That's just what starts it. Well, apparently that's why they have different actors playing them, because they're different spies, but they all take the name James Bond. No. That's not how it is in the novels. It's one character, and they just switch out the actors always because that.
Look, I look at
Royale. People have that in their heads now. That they're all different characters.
I consider that Casino Royale to be kind of like the Stephen Moffat Curse of Fatal Death from the Doctor Who, Red Nose, thing with Rowan Atkinson as I almost said James Bond as the Doctor.
Moffat wrote that segment.
Yes, you didn't know that? That was his first. I've seen it. Yes, it was his first, and it's not canon, and it's just meant to be a parody and funny, and yeah.
They had the Doctor regenerating into what's her name from Absolutely Fabulous.
Yes, which I thought was brilliant. So whenever people say this Doctor, she's the first female Doctor, I'm like, nope, that is not true. That is not true. She is not the first. Evelyn said she's sipping on an orange cream fizzy water, which sounds really darn yummy. And then Moira Kitty, I was just watching one of your recent streams. So glad you came back to hang out with us. I've missed you. You are awesome, and I super appreciate seeing you here. Lester San Jose, glad to make it here, and we are glad that you did make it here. Let's see if I've missed anyone. Tim Hayes, of course. Hail to Deleted Scenes and Denetter's Network. I'm sure he probably says hi to me somewhere along the way. Sir Torrance says, I was thinking about this while I was at work. Ezra Miller, in a brief cameo, managed to sound and act more like the Flash in Suicide Squad than he did in 2 movies where he was a main character. Huh. Interesting.
I still haven't seen the first Suicide Squad movie.
I haven't watched either of them. I don't care. I do not care. In fact, I don't think I've seen any of the Snyderverse films at all. And I won't be.
Really? Okay. Yeah,
I have absolutely zero. Well, I mean, unless you consider the Shazam films to be Snyderverse.
Here's the problem. Snyder left, but people are still doing things in the quote-unquote Snyder universe. Right? But it was just, I can talk to you about the ones I've seen a little bit if you want to know.
Sure. But Netter and I did watch the first Shazam film. We enjoyed it. It wasn't perfect, but it was enjoyable. And now we've got the second film and Black Adam lined up. So we will be watching those. And they are technically Snyderverse, but we also realize they are pretty much narrative dead ends. Welcome, Logical Spock. It's really good to see you, and check out Netter's Network where she interviewed Logical Spock. It was a great time hanging out with him, as was yesterday's stream with the Potawatomi. I'm cooking with my headphones on. Awesome. Yeah, that's kind of how I think these streams should be taken in. Just background noise as as you're doing other things. That's fine. I understand. Let's see. I think no, that does not catch me up. Give me a second here.
You missed Fletcher Williams. I suck at games channel.
I'm sure I'll get to that in just a second. But first, Sir Torrance says, I own that one. I'm so behind, I'm not sure what we're referring to here. It's what would happen if an opera Valkyrie did enough acid to kill the 60s.
That's Casino Royale.
Oh, gotcha. Yes. Yeah. I'm with you. But you know what? Look, you can't poo-poo that too much and then look at Austin Powers, because Austin Powers is basically in the same vein,
I'm really biting my tongue tonight, so out of respect.
Yeah, since this isn't meant to be a James Bond stream, right? But yes, Fletcher Williams, welcome. Thank you so much for being here, and of course, love seeing you guys all chatting with each other. I love seeing the community being a community here. And of course, Big Al saying hi to everybody, Lady Miss saying hi to everybody, and let's get to the topic at hand. Let's get back to the end of the Snyderverse. Is that how we want to?
I feel like with the end of the Snyderverse, it's like I'm not dead yet. I'm getting better. Like it refuses to die. We have 2 more movies. Oh wait, I know. I forgot. Blue Beetle's no longer part of the Snyderverse because reasons.
We're still debating a little bit about that. Lemon really comes through on this. Wow,
it sounds delightful. Actually,
yeah. And let me tell you something. Cokie Americano. Don't just go get your basic driver Muth. Cokie Americano is the way to go, man. Just saying. But anyway. Yeah, so
Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, which comes out, I think, on Christmas Day, if I'm not mistaken. It comes out.
Oh yeah, so people are just going to flock to the theaters.
Wait a minute, now I have to look that up because I have to know if that's when it comes out. Hold on. That would not be a very good Christmas present to the American people. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom release date. Hold on. Anyway, go talk. Anyway.
No. Yeah, so
September 20th it comes out. So. There you go. You want a movie to watch over the Christmas holidays? You can go see Ghostbusters Firehouse, or whatever they're calling it, and skip this.
Yeah. Which just wrapped filming. So, yeah. So that's actually going to be on point. And, you're not going to be getting, a bunch of reshoots and whatnot because they're not doing screwy things that are pissing off, viewers and whatnot. So... Real quick, we got an article here from Boing Boing. I have no idea what that outlet is, but it was one of the most recent articles kind of covering this particular topic that I wanted to get into. The Flash loses its momentum. According to the AV Club, maybe I should have just gone to the AV Club and given them the credit, but it links to it at least. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse and Elemental just beat The Flash out of its sixth day of release. If Elementals beat The Flash out, that's not good.
Considering it's also considered a bomb. Yeah.
Exactly. DC's film division is not having a great 2023. They haven't had a great half decade, Well, to be fair, they haven't been having yeah, I should have read this article before I started making jokes, right? They haven't been having a great time in a long while, but 2023 is shaping up to be a historically awful year for the DC film brand. Back in March, Shazam 2: Fury of the Gods, which I haven't seen, but Netter and I will be watching within the next couple weeks, was released to a lukewarm reception, both critically and commercially, although very few people thought a Shazam film set the world on fire. The first movie's success led critics and fans to believe that Shazam 2 would at least be moderately successful. Come on, folks, let's face it. It is set in the Snyderverse, and we know the Snyderverse is a narrative dead end. So a lot of people have pretty much checked out. even though they liked the first Shazam film. Shazam 2 flopped. All eyes were on Flash, as the film was set to reboot DC's continuity and provide a clean slate for James Gunn's upcoming DCU. And let's face it, folks, we don't know what to expect from James Gunn. Everyone is still going, so I don't know how much of the enthusiasm is there. And with a slew of weirdly positive endorsements, including a glowing review from Tom Cruise before its release, it's clear that Warner Brothers Discovery had high hopes for The Flash. Keep in mind, when people give these kinds of reviews and they seem implausible, there's usually a business deal behind the scenes. So just try to temper your expectations with that. Now that the film is in theaters, The Flash is rapidly losing momentum as it came in third at Wednesday's box office. Third? What the hell else is at the theaters? Oh, the Elemental and
Transformers came out week prior, so people were seeing that, the new Transformers.
For fuck's sake. So I'm not even going to read the rest of this article. Bottom line, it's not doing real well. Nobody expected it to, and from everything I'm hearing, this movie kind of sucks. I mean, so Boomer, you sent me a little snippet to watch. Why don't you tell everyone about that while I drink?
I keep hearing everyone online talking about two things. One was the ending, which, it's like who's is it when he restored the timeline, which Batman is it? So we'll talk about that a little bit. But the other thing people keep talking about are these falling babies, and I'm like, I don't want to go out into the movies. I don't want to go to the movies to see this, obviously, and I don't really even feel like bootlegging it to watch it. Not that I usually do that anyway, but you know what I mean. If this was on HBO Max right now with a day and date, I would not be watching it. But I kind of wanted to watch the baby scene. And online, there was a anatomy of a scene, I guess, in an effort to promote this movie, where they show the scene, but the director talks over it.
Yes.
So you actually can watch the baby scene online if you so desire and see it, a bit with the director talking over it. But
it's a great example of what a lot of outlets are talking about, how bad the CG is. It's terrible. It's just absolutely terrible. And the narrative, it made me think a lot of the Quicksilver scene from that X-Men movie. You know, that one where he's running around and he takes the coffee, which was kind of cool. But
that worked.
That worked. This one is like, is this guy doing? Putting a baby in a microwave, and I watched the scene and I don't understand why.
Do you know why he put the baby in the microwave?
No, it didn't make any sense to me.
Okay, I guess in the scene, he thought that the fire was going to hit the baby. Of course, couldn't he have just picked the baby
to protect the baby from the fire? But he then uses the fire to move objects and stuff. It's just
the baby in the microwave. Do you know that urban legend?
Yes.
Baby in the oven, actually. Well, no, it's hair.
Yes.
It's the babysitter putting her hair in the microwave, but then it's also the drugged out babysitter putting the child
baby in the microwave and realizing
serving turkey when the parents come home, not realizing it's
right.
The
it's an urban.
I think that was a rather disturbing reference to that.
Yeah.
Which
is not very smart when you've got Ezra Miller as your star. Just saying.
I mean, these are babies, and I also thought back to that Once Upon a Time in America sequence where they take all the babies out of the maternity ward, but they misplaced the tags, which ones had the right tags on them, so they basically just put the tags on different, and people are bringing home different babies.
That's funny.
That aren't their own. And I'm thinking, did the Flash do that? Did he mix up the tags? It's terrible. You have the one. I don't know if that's a nurse or a doctor in the maternity ward screaming.
I don't know the movie you're referring to, but I do know that
De Niro was in it. Yeah,
that babies, in the maternity ward have the little plastic, so they've got the IDs on their wrists, just like you do when you go into the hospital. Yeah. Real quick, I want to help out Tim Hayes. Yes, Cokie Americano is a particular brand, I suppose, of dry vermouth. It's far superior to most of the most of the driver Muths on the market, in my personal opinion. Not a sponsorship. But it is also the closest you're going to find to Quina Lele, which, of course, is referenced in the James Bond, the whole Vesper Martini thing, because Quina Lele hasn't been made in decades. So you got to find a substitute. So, but yeah.
No, also the whole thing with the Flash where his powers are related to how much food's in his stomach or something. Which, is that even comic accurate?
Kind of.
I know he burns up a lot of calories because he runs fast, but I figured he would just pass out.
It wasn't, I don't think it was a Barry Allen thing. I think it was more of a Wally West thing.
I think they've been treating this character like he's supposed to be Wally West in these movies.
That is a huge problem because they are not the same character. I mean, it would have been fine if they'd decided he was Wally West, but they didn't. And this is kind of a problem. When we get to that segment, we'll talk through how important the difference is between Barry and Wally. It's as important as like the difference between Dick Grayson and Tim Drake and Damian Wayne. I mean, they're different characters and they need to be treated differently. I'm sorry, you dingbats who think that anybody who carries the mantle and has the powers, they're the same character and they're interchangeable, regardless of what, gender and race and, whatever. They're just interchangeable. That's not how things work. People are individuals and characters are individuals.
So, but the babies looked weird, didn't they?
They really did. They looked like video game assets is what they looked like. It's sad.
It was creepy.
Or just a lady who put her dog in a mouth. Yeah, that brings up all these different urban legends. Absolutely.
That's what that called to mind, and I shouldn't be thinking about that when I'm trying to watch a superhero doing her heroic deed.
Yeah,
Why
exactly.
did he put the baby in the microwave? Do they explain it later in the movie? Like, what was his thought process behind it?
I think you might be right. Maybe that open flame thing. He was trying to protect.
But here's the other thing. It starts off with a nurse holding a baby in the hospital
Right.
nursery.
Then
as the building falls and the babies are flying everywhere and the lady's flying everywhere, suddenly out of nowhere there's a dog.
Yeah, I didn't really follow what the dog was all about.
Therapy
The
dog
in
made
the hospital. They're not allowed.
But let me say something else. Is this the same scene? I saw this scene out of context. Does this have to do with the whole Zod, destroying the No, this was in Gotham, wasn't it?
No, this was, I think, before he decides to do the time travel. See, I haven't seen the movie, so I've only heard about it, but I think this scene happens before he goes back and undoes the thing. I think this is just at the beginning when he's doing his...
Gotcha.
Helping out the Justice League. Batman calls him into this place to help out or something. I think Wonder Woman shows
Because of what I was about to say is, at least if this was... what the Flash was doing during the Battle of Metropolis. It's like, oh, well, at least they're trying to resolve the whole people are being rescued as the buildings are being destroyed.
For all we know, that was in a prior version of the script, and then they changed it.
Yeah, we'll get to that with a later article, but there were multiple versions of this. Sir Torrance says, though I would make the argument that the food thing should apply to all Flashes retroactively. Yeah, but here's the problem. They have touched on Wally burning up calories and having to replenish. They even did that in the John Wesley Shipp version as well. But they have subsequently completely retconned that because it just makes no sense to be able to go so fast that you can run faster than light and you can travel through time and vibrate between universes. I'm sorry, there's just not enough calories in the world to give you that level of energy. So they decided that he is linked to this speed force,
Right.
So to bring that up again, in this post-crisis, post-rebirth era makes zero sense in this film. Although, I will say one thing. Having seen that scene, now I want a burrito, to be honest with you. But just longest running superhero RPG on Earth. Hey, guys, here for a minute, but gotta wake up at 5 a.m., so gotta crash soon. I certainly understand, CK, and thanks for stopping by, and I will see you very soon. Be going out to Ohio to visit with him. So, and everyone wish him congratulations on his anniversary and the renewal of his vows.
Congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely. The bad part about bringing up the Wally West food part is that it never comes back up. So it's a loaded gun. Yeah. It's a canonical dead end. So bringing it up in the film makes zero sense.
It's interesting. You would figure it would come into play later on when he's with the Michael Keaton Batman.
But I'm guessing it doesn't.
It'd be pivotal for some reason. I noticed in the Super Mario Brothers cartoon movie, there's a scene where Luigi is trying to block water from a plumbing job gone wrong that they're working on, and basically he grabs the mirror to block the water. Later on, toward the end, when he's trying to build up his courage, he blocks flames from hitting people with a manhole, or from hitting his brother. And I realized that earlier scene we saw with the mirror, that's a setup for what we see at the end of the movie, which I thought was interesting. So I wouldn't spoil too much, but yeah.
So I don't want to get too far into this particular article, but let's take a quick look at it. The Flash director confirms 4-hour cut exists. And something tells me that it's already too long as it is.
Release what's the director's name? The something cut. We can pester Warner Brothers. Drop another $200 million on this thing, Warner Brothers. Come on.
Well, especially if you're looking for content for your streaming service, right? There is an extended cut of The Flash that adds about another hour and a half to the superhero movie's lengthy runtime. And there's a chance fans may get to see it one day, now playing in theaters. The Flash is a movie that took many years to make its way to the big screen. Yeah, it got put off and put off and put off. If you're going out to see what has become one of the most hype movies of the year, yeah, I can't argue with that. You may want to get a large popcorn, as The Flash is in no way a short film. Its running time is approximately around 2.5 hours. Holy crap.
It's a standard running time for movies nowadays, 2.5 hours, if they're not pushing 3.
Look, the only way that you can justify that kind of a running time is the movie's got to be frickin' good.
Yes.
You've got to go for 2.5 hours and go, oh my gosh, that was 2.5 hours already? That time just flew by. If it doesn't, you better shorten that damn film to about 90 minutes.
I brought this up, the movie Greyhound, which I caught on Apple TV Plus, which was originally supposed to be a theatrical release. It was about, a battleship in World War II, that was defending the people trying to get supplies of the British. It was 90 minutes. I thought at 90 minutes it was a very good movie. If they had extended it 2 hours, I don't know if I would have been as favorable. Sometimes some stories can be told in 90 minutes, and that's all you need.
Yeah.
Sometimes all you need is 2 hours. I don't know. I mean, yeah.
The one person that I think really kind of sums it up is Script Doctor, and he's a frequent contributor to Midnight's Edge. He's talked about this many times, and the conservation of running time. If you can't tell your story in about an hour and a half to 2 hours, maybe you should make it 2 films. It's an economy of words. It's an economy of narration, and I think as you watch these films, you look and you're like, this whole segment here is useless to me. Why is this even here? These directors, these writers need to learn to freaking edit themselves. It's kind of like one of the things we talk about with George Lucas all the time is how many people told him, look, your run-on dialogue is pointless. Get it done in one line and be done with it and get on to the next scene. You know? You don't need exposition upon exposition. You know, that's bad storytelling. That's undisciplined storytelling. But before getting to the final runtime of its theatrical cut, however, The Flash was whittled down to a 4-hour cut in post-production.
What do you mean whittled down? So it was longer. From
there, director Andy Muschietti still needed to remove about an hour and a half of footage to prepare the release for theaters. This meant leaving a lot of footage on the cutting room floor, but at the end of the day, the director is much happier with the version that's now showing in the theaters. Good! Leave it alone! If you're happy with it, we're happy with it. Be done with it. Adding more footage is not going to make this a better film. I guarantee you. With that said, Muschietti isn't opposed to having fans see the 4-hour. Look, okay, fine. If you want to have, you know, deleted scenes, not you, Stephen Otten, but, you know, deleted scenes on the DVD, fine, whatever, throw it on there. You know, give people more bang for their buck or whatever. Let people make their fan edits and whatever. But for crying out loud, if you're happy with it as the director, leave it the frick alone. I'm not going any further with this. I think we all know where that goes. So yeah, a 4-frickin' hour film that, you know, isn't any better. It's a waste of time, and a waste of time, and a waste of money.
Big Al has a comment. It's a long film, and there are 2 Ezras on screen most of the time.
Yeah, that's 2 Ezras way too frickin' much. But that's just my personal opinion. But related to that, inside the Flash ending, that cameo secretly filmed 6 months ago. So we may be getting into some spoilers here. Okay, for a movie that's been out long enough that anyone that's really interested has seen this freaking piece of garbage. But you kind of had to know that we'd be getting into some spoiler stuff. I actually don't know because I haven't read this article yet, but going to right now.
I thought for sure you're going to say, I don't know, because I don't care.
Well, honestly, this version, I've probably spent way too much time on it, but this is the topic, so let's get into it. Inside the Flash ending, that cameo secretly filmed 6 months ago. Hollywood secrets have become notoriously hard to keep. But Warner Brothers and the filmmakers of The Flash pulled off a doozy with a final moment of this DC film. Did Grace Randolph write this freaking piece? After more than 25 years, George Clooney returned to the role of Bruce Wayne. Oh, yeah. This scene is floating around out there on the interwebs. So,
I've seen it in Spanish. Go, I'm sorry.
Bueno, senor. So he reprises the role of Bruce Wayne, blah, 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 blah. In a mic drop moment. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
One that has left audiences howling. Yeah, howling at how stupid it is. Probably right up there with that Tim Burton Planet of the Apes film, you know?
Yeah, well...
It's right up there with howling about that ending. One of the Flash's final scenes shows Barry Allen, Ezra Miller, on the phone to Bruce Wayne. Okay, so let me sum this up for you real quick, because I've seen this damn scene. He spent the whole movie with Bruce Wayne, played by Michael Keaton, right? Different universe. He's got to fix history, right? So in order to fix history, he's expecting to get back to his own universe, and it looks like he gets back to his own universe where we should see what's his name? Ben Affleck, right?
Yes.
So he's on the phone with Bruce Wayne. He thinks he's talking to Ben Affleck. Bruce Wayne gets out of his limo, and it turns out that it's,
George Clooney.
George Clooney, the guy from ER. Right.
Which is around the time when he made Batman and Robin, when he was a star in it.
Yeah, exactly. Which he's apologized for, and Joel Schumacher apologized for before he passed, and everything. It was a piece of crap. And I honestly, looking back, knowing what I know now, I don't blame Joel Schumacher even for it. Certainly don't blame George Clooney. He's an actor. He played the role he was, as he was told to play it. If anything, Joel Schumacher is probably the most responsible. But in fairness, he was doing what he was told by the studio. I blame McDonald's. That's a whole other video. We've talked about it before. Yeah, seriously, it's McDonald's fault.
Should we do a not so good old days on Batman and Robin now?
We almost probably should. Yeah.
I was 20 when that came out. I went to see it with my friends, and there's the part when they're going up against Mr. Freeze, and you hear the first Hanna-Barbera banana peel sound effect, and then my friend just starts saying, "This sucks! This sucks! This is stupid!" And he kept saying that like in intervals throughout the entire movie. And normally I would tell, shut up.
Going back to the previous,
don't talk during the movie, and I'm like, no, this was awful.
Going back to the previous Joel Schumacher movie, Batman. Is it Batman Forever?
Forever, yes. With
Holy Rusted Metal, Batman.
The bad line.
And I swear I groaned at that. Look, not to disparage the Adam West Batman in any way, okay?
No, but then he looks down and he goes, "Look,
it's rusted, and there's holes with the metal." And okay, yeah, I get what they were saying, but it was like so painful because so much of the rest of this film has been so tongue-in-cheek, and it's like, you're not the Adam West Batman. That was a farce, and it was meant to be.
Yes.
It was what it was, and it was great, and it was great for kids especially.
Right.
This, I don't know what the heck this was,
Jim Carrey, in my opinion, saves that movie. He's
Kinda.
watchable, and Nicole Kidman is rather.
Robin Williams was originally considered for that role, and I think he would have been brilliant. He
would have made a great Riddler. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I would have been on board with that too, but I thought Jim Carrey did a good job. But yeah,
you know what? Here's something. So what's his name who played Two-Face?
No, Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones, yes.
Part of that movie.
Tommy Lee Jones. I was pissed that it wasn't Billy D. Williams.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm supposed to be a racist because I don't like race swaps, right? No. You already established Billy D. Williams way back in the first movie as Harvey Dent. The fact that he wasn't Two-Face... The fuck is wrong with you people?
Billy D. Williams, very underrated actor who I feel should have been in more movies. I mean,
I agree.
Star Wars, but he was great.
Dude, we are going to do a rewatch one night. We are going to do a rewatch of Brian's Song.
Yeah. He's a good actor, so.
And you're going to see me ugly cry on camera. Because, damn it. There's certain movies that men are supposed to cry at. Brian's Song is one, Old Yeller's another.
But
just saying.
Going back to
song when I was in school because
you went to Brian Piccolo Middle School, didn't you?
Middle School, right?
Yeah.
So they made us watch it every year, and it was funny because you'd hear the guys in the sniffling and all that, and then you look over the guy next to you and he's like wiping his eyes like I'm not crying.
Oh, geez.
Another one that we're gonna have to do one night is Newt Rockne All American. How many of you all remember Newt Rockne All American?
Football player?
Yep. With Ronald Reagan. Yeah. That's a movie that I bet most of you haven't seen. Well, I'm guessing probably Sir Torrin and Deleted Scenes have probably seen it. They're the ones I would put my bets on.
Can I respond to a comment Deleted Scenes is making? There was exactly one good line in Batman and Robin. This is why Superman works alone? That was actually a good line. I'm not going to take that out. Yeah. But.
That's funny. And look, I also liked references like, the circus is probably halfway to Metropolis by now. That is great world building without specifically having to have these crossover movies,
Yeah, just no. Batman and Robin was bad. I've tried rewatching it since then because I think I got the 4-pack, which had all 4 of the Burton universe movies, which of course, according to this new Flash movie, they're not part of the same universe anymore. But
Okay, I'm kind of going out of order, but fuck it, I'm drunk and I'm gonna just say whatever comes into my head at this point.
One drink.
It was a double, to be fair. So we have established, based on Ezra Miller plays all the Flashes in this movie, right?
Yes.
From multiple universes,
Yes.
multiple timelines.
Yes.
Why the fuck do we have different Batmen?
reasons.
Exactly.
Like, you think they could have gotten John Wesley Shipp and what's his name, Grant Gustin or whatever.
They totally could have. They fucking totally could have. We'll get to them very shortly, but
It might have been kind of funny if Michael Rosenbaum, because he played the voice of the Flash on Justice League, he could have been the Flash too.
that would have actually been pretty cool. That would have been cool.
Yeah, but of course, no, he wasn't Barry Allen Flash, so he was Wally West Flash.
He was Wally West.
Yes.
That's absolutely
Okay.
true. Although I gotta admit that my favorite was, and I've mentioned this on other streams, when Lex Luthor takes over the body of the Flash.
Yes, they switched minds. Yes,
And he looks in the mirror and I guess his plans had been thwarted or whatever, and he's like, well, at least I can find out who the Flash is. And he takes off the mask and he looks in the mirror and he goes, I have no idea who this is. And think about it. Who the hell knows who Wally West is except like his friends and family?
Yes. They
Right?
They made a
It's
point
not
of-
like he was a famous person.
They did an audio commentary for that episode. That's what the writers said. Yeah, I mean, just because you think the mask off, you're going to automatically know who this person is. And remember
Look
who he
at
looks like.
they kind of in a more serious way did it with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man,
Yes,
right?
that was a great scene in that.
That was, oh my gosh, I get goosebumps because he thinks he's given his life to save these people, right? And he literally stretches himself to the breaking point, and he loses consciousness, and the people that he has just rescued lift him up,
Yes,
in the hero pose and pass him along to put him down to take care of him, and his mask is torn off
Yes.
because of what he's been through, and they're like, oh my god, he's just a kid,
Yeah.
and he realizes they see his face and they're like, look, there is nobody here who's going to give away your secret identity.
Yeah, they all
But
talk.
every one of them's like, I don't know who the fuck he is. He's some kid.
No, but I like that idea that they all went.
Yeah.
We'll never reveal that we saw what you look like.
Oh my god, I owe this guy my life. I'm not going to know.
You have a scene in The Dark Knight too, where the Joker sets up this plan where you have this device on a prison ship and this device on a civilian ship, and it's like whoever presses the button first, the other ship blows up. But if you don't do it, both ships are going to blow up, and like there's hemming and hawing between both sides, the prisoners and the regular citizens, and then at the end of the day, neither group decides to press the button, and it proves a point that Batman was trying to make to the Joker that they're not going to be. You think I forget what he said, but it was like the Joker thinks the worst of the citizens of Gotham, but they didn't play into the plan. They didn't blow up the other ship.
Netter, can you write this one down for us? Imitation of Life with Lana Turner from 1959. I honestly don't think I've seen that film, and
There are
now
two of
I
them.
absolutely freaking have to.
There are two of those movies, and one I think there's one from the 30s as well that was made. In fact, when I got it on DVD, it came with both in the same pack, the original version and I think the Lana Turner version.
Well, we're probably going to end up doing that then. That's probably what we're going to end up doing, absolutely. Yeah. But yeah. So kind of what we're getting at here is it's the difference in storytelling, right? It's understanding your audience, understanding your characters, and just understanding what pulls on the heartstrings, right? As opposed to this. It's just, I don't know.
Well, here's the problem. You don't sell they think the audience is nostalgic for Batman and Robin and George Clooney Batman, and they're not. Batman and Robin ushered in. People thought when Batman and Robin came out was so terrible. At that point in time, people thought it was over for comic book adaptations. I remember Blade came out the next summer, and Blade did very well. And I think that's what brought comic book adaptations back. And when Blade was being advertised, it was not being advertised as a comic book movie. It was being advertised as like a supernatural action movie. They weren't even necessarily saying, "Hey, this is based on the Marvel comics." I mean, they weren't denying it.
Well, look, the same thing can be said about Judge Dredd, right? No, I think a lot of people that went to see Judge Dredd didn't realize it was a comic book movie. The Crow is another one.
Yeah. And I don't think it was until X-Men came out where they started embracing the comic book movie again. Okay, this is based on a comic book, and then of course with
but let's be honest though. The first movie that people embraced as a comic book film was the Christopher Reeve Superman.
Yes.
And it was specifically because Donner and his verisimilitude concept, right?
Yeah.
It's like, yes, this is an absurd concept, but we're going to play it straight. We are not going to do the Adam West Batman. I mean, I'm sorry. This is why, as 70s as that is, even that stupid scene, whoo, that's some bad outfit, right? As silly as that is, right? Other than that, it's like
there's a lot of silly scenes like the video.
There are, but it's like,
Miss
but at the Miss Tessmacher.
It's so
oh my gosh! I just gotta say, when we were in Metropolis dressed as Lex Luthor and Miss Tessmacher, I swear we'd be walking down the street and there'd be someone on the other side of the road, Miss Tessmacher, and she'd just wave at the.
Or I'd be like, "What do you want, honey?"
What do you want, honey? It's just it was so much fun. Yeah, absolutely.
Mr. Luthor, that guy over there's calling me.
Yeah, just ignore him. Yeah, just ignore him. Yeah, it's just, but yeah, that's a stream for another night. We'll have to talk about some of our cosplays one night, but so let's see inside. Okay, so the cameo. Look, and there apparently, from what I'm hearing, there was a lot of cameos in this film. Full disclosure, I didn't see this movie. I have no friggin' interest in this movie. But apparently, they brought every Batman they could bring into this, and I think they got the Christopher Reeve Superman has a scene in this.
A CG version or something. Yeah.
And the Helen Slater Supergirl.
Okay, do you know why that's in there? It's I don't like
because they could.
No, I don't like the term fan service, but I think people are always bugged by the fact that the Helen Slater Supergirl and the Chris Reeve Superman never were on screen at the same time.
Well, there's a reason for that. They asked Christopher Reeve, and he read the script, and he was like, "Fuck no." Although I doubt he said "fuck," but he was smart enough to know this was. Keep in mind, he did Superman 4, but he wasn't going to do Supergirl. Just.
Yeah,
that was a mess.
Supergirl was a mess, but that'll be a topic for another night, I think. But
there is a very special place in my heart for that movie, but yeah, it wasn't.
Well, my special place is I feel awful for Helen Slater because I understand why they cast her. She's perfect casting.
She is.
Part.
She played the role perfectly.
Yes.
I loved her portrayal of Supergirl, but their choice of villain, and don't get me wrong, just like Gene Hackman and Ned Beatty, right? Mm-hmm. They picked two villains that were, the actresses they chose were phenomenal, but the characterization they chose was flippin' ridiculous. And yeah, there was a huge disconnect. And having met Elia Sulkide, I kind of understand what
Shut up.
Oh yeah, it was a mess. It was, yeah.
He was supposed to give a talk or answer questions for an hour. one person at the beginning asked
One person, one question, and he went on for a friggin' hour talking.
He actually went over the hour. They had
No one else got a chance to answer questions. Like, oh, dude, shut the fuck up. Everybody, even the guy that asked the question was like, oh, God, you answered the question. Shut up, please stop.
We got in line for autographs, and we had the free newspaper that they put out every year for the Superman Fest. And someone that was ahead of us happened to ask, oh, so what are you charging for the autographs? And he looks at the paper, he goes, oh, for that $20. Troy and I just did an about-face walk.
Yeah, we're done. Yeah, we don't want your autograph that badly. You're not worth that much. Anyway, sorry, I got totally off on a. So let's take a look at some of the other versions of the Flash on film, right? So in reverse order.
Okay.
From 2014 to 2023, I guess it's had a long run. It's just ending. Grant Gustafson played the Flash on the CW series.
Apparently, people did not like the finale, but I don't know anything about it. So
I know zero because I didn't watch a single
Has
episode.
some information from us. Let us know. Yeah.
Some of the YouTube videos that I've seen about it have said that it does kind of follow the comics and some elements of at least the more recent comics. I don't dig it too much, but I don't know. I guess it was okay. Honestly, I think I've been very open about the fact that I had zero interest in any CW DC characterizations after Smallville, since none of it was connected to Smallville. I said, screw it, I'm done. You can't let your peas and carrots touch, so you've lost me. Speaking of which, 2004, Smallville's season 4, episode 5, entitled "Run," starred Kyle Gallner as Bart Allen, who in the comics is Impulse.
Impulse, yes.
But yeah, he very tongue-in-cheek reference to the previous Flashes. He's from the future, but when he runs into Clark, trying to find out about him, picks his pocket, takes a look through his wallet, and he's got all these fake IDs. And he says, "So what's your real name?" Wally West, Guy Gardner, Barry Allen. It was very cute and clever for a one-time character. They weren't going to do the development of all the different iterations of the Flash, but yeah, it was a good episode for what it was.
And he showed up in the quote unquote Justice League episode they did later on too, where
yes, exactly.
Cyborg was on it, so was Aquaman, the Smallville version.
Right, exactly.
This
is what pissed me off, that they didn't use these characters as spin-offs. They decided to go with the Arrowverse instead. Completely reinvent the fucking wheel.
Remember the Hawkman they had on Smallville?
He was great. He was great, and the story, the idea behind him, they kind of worked Golden Age and Silver Age and Bronze Age all together. I thought it was brilliant, but screw all that. But also in 2004, and this is something that I alluded to in my opening monologue. David S. Goyer was between Blade Trinity and Batman Begins, and he was given the choice between Green Lantern and the Flash, and he chose the Flash. He wanted Ryan Reynolds to play Wally West.
Interesting.
And Ryan Reynolds was all in. This was, again, before Green Lantern, and this was, before Batman Begins. And
I can see him as Wally West, yeah.
Absolutely, and in fact, I'm going to real quick drop for you guys. Don't run away right now. I'm not done with my stream, but maybe later on, go kind of right click on this and open it in another tab and check it out later. But this other YouTuber has a stream talking about this Flash treatment by David S. Goyer that might have been that. Honestly, it sounds kind of genius. It focuses on Wally West, and considering that it takes place in 2004, that is the appropriate Flash, I guess, to focus on. But it does kind of start with Barry Allen and give an interesting take on the origin for Wally West. And without getting into all the Crisis on Infinite Earth stuff, kind of gives a great narrative, a simple, non-comic book fan narrative for the, Wally West taking on the mantle of the Flash, and being an origin story for him going forward. It actually sounds really, really good. I would have loved to have seen this version of the Flash far more than this version that's currently in theaters. But most of you know about, and this was my Flash, and probably the best live action incarnation of Barry Allen was John Wesley Shipp. 1990 to 91. It only got 2 seasons, and it wasn't even a full 2 seasons. The Flash TV series. Keep in mind this was right after. This would have been after the Tim Burton films.
Around the same time, I remember I was very excited that we were getting another DC superhero series.
In fact, the who did the soundtrack for the first Batman movie?
Danny Elfman.
Danny Elfman, because he did the soundtrack for The Flash as well.
Cool.
And there's a great scene, I think it was the first or second episode of The Flash, where Barry Allen is just out walking his dog, and they're going past a cinema, and the cinema is doing a double feature of the original Christopher Reeve Superman and the original Tim Burton Batman. And the dog starts barking like he wants to go into the theater, and Barry looks and he goes, "Oh, come on! Haven't we enough of this superhero stuff?"
Funny.
And it's just
funny.
It was really, really cute. But
what I thought was, I remember Captain Cold was on an episode of that series, right?
Yeah, I think so. It
was interesting because he was an albino, remember, and
which was very clever. They also had, I'm forgetting the character, but played by Mark Hamill.
the Trickster.
The Trickster, right.
Yes.
Which was absolutely brilliant. And I think he got a chance to reprise that role in one of the later Flash.
Yeah, on the
CW one?
Flash. And it was interesting because they were saying, oh yeah, this guy, this Trickster, he was a nut in the 90s, and they showed pictures from the old Wesley Shipp Flash episode in reference to that. But yeah, he played the Trickster on that. He also did the voice of the Trickster on the one episode of Justice League where he showed up as the Trickster.
That makes sense.
Voice for that too. Yeah.
Fletcher Williams says the costume of the OG Flash was so cool.
Yeah.
So here's how you could tell the difference between, the original Barry Allen Flash from the comics, the John Wesley Shipp version, and subsequent versions. So the original Flash, honestly, pure red, and his belt has the lightning, and it's just lightning going across his belt, right? Whereas the John Wesley Shipp is lightning that converges into the center, which I always thought was highlighting his package, which I thought was kind of weird, right? And then everything after that is just lightning all over the frickin' place. Like, it's just, they got crazy with the lightning. So I don't know. But, so we've had, in my opinion, better and look, my notes don't even contain it, but I know there was the Super Friends, the later iterations of the Super Friends animated series had an animated version of the Flash.
Oh, cool.
I know that the Justice League animated series
Wally West Flash,
had Wally voiced by, as we said earlier, Michael Rosenbaum.
Yeah. He actually first shows up. The Flash first showed up on an episode of Superman the Animated Series. I don't know
sense.
if Michael Rosenbaum played his voice, but he shows up and he's supposed to have a race with Superman, right? And they're about
which
to have
is
the
a
race,
reference
and
to
then-
the comics where
Yeah.
there have been every iteration of Superman has gotten a chance to race the Flash. Yeah.
But then the weather wizard is up to no good, and they have to both work together to stop the weather wizard. So
Yeah.
he was a Flash villain, right? The weather wizard. I think, yeah.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. And therein lies another issue that I have with this Flash movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
This Flash movie, who's the villain in this? Do you know, Agent Boomer?
General Zod.
General Zod. Yeah, because they are going back in time and redoing that whole Battle of Metropolis from Man of Steel. We never get a Flash villain. If you're going to do a Flash story, do a Flash origin with a Flash villain.
Well, I don't know. I think the idea is
That link I gave you, by the way, for that movie treatment with David Goyer is a great Flash origin with two Flash villains.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Who are the two
Definitely
villains?
check it out. It was the what was his name? The tortoise or the turtle or whatever.
The turtle, yeah.
Yeah, the turtle and Zoom. Which
okay.
which I guess is kind of sort of a villain in this one, but it's not, the same Zoom. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, they were on the Flash CW show too.
Right.
But yeah, it was a problem. I got out of the CW Flash series after season 3. I couldn't take it anymore. I don't like it when they would do crossovers with the other series, and then I'm hearing about what's going on with Oliver Queen and his dating life in the middle of a Flash episode. And I'm like, I don't care if you do a crossover, but stop involving me in plot lines on your other show while I'm watching an episode of this show. It's like, don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, give me a second. I want to close my MeWe because somebody's liking all of my posts and they're chiming in my ear.
Fletcher Williams, I saw Game says, I thought Flash was the main villain in that movie.
Kind of.
Didn't we hear about? Isn't there like a Flash that shows up later in that movie? Which is
Yeah. So this kind of what?
I bought your movie for you, and I bought Casino Royale.
Oh, you're awesome. Thank you so much.
And the Lana Turner movie has got two versions. One
Yes.
from, I think, 1930.
That's exactly what
that's what I
Boomer was
telling you
saying.
about.
So yeah.
It comes with both
That's what I
versions.
got.
I'm good with that. I'm totally good with that. I'll watch them both. So this is a spoiler. The Reverse Flash, or like a version of the Reverse Flash, it's actually Barry from the future or something like that.
Yeah, that was the villain in Flash season 3. He was, what's his name? He had a different name though.
Thrawn or Thoron or I don't know. It was some weird future
Something
name.
with an S. It was some weird thing. It turns out it was I think Barry was able to make a copy of himself to stop the bad guy from the prior season, but that copy of himself didn't die and then ended up in some miserable hell dimension, and then he ended up hating Barry Allen, even though he is Barry Allen. Do you understand? It was this weird.
Yeah, I get that. Real quick, I want to welcome Fluff Chicken Productions to the stream. Thanks for being here so much. This is interesting. Mark Hamill's Trickster had a son on the series that was following in his father's footsteps.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It was funny because he says, "No, I am your father." They did the Star Wars line, because
yeah,
you get it because it's Mark.
But again, I do feel like most fans are looking at this current Flash and saying, "This is a dead end. There's nothing in this. We're going to be rebooting anyway." I mean, if anything, they're probably looking at this going, "Yeah, let's check it out in case it implies what's coming in the Gunverse." But I don't think it does at all.
We should be demanding that we have George Clooney Batman in. Unless George Clooney Batman's going to be in the Batman Brave and the Bold movie.
No.
Get him started.
Yeah, no. But yeah.
Dog.
I mean,
Who's an obnoxious child actor we can cast as the Robin to go with the George Clooney?
Who's that one from The Last of Us? The one that played the girl from.
Why not switch genders? Switch genders of the character. Might as well at this point.
They do it all the time anyway, right? I mean, why not? Yeah, sure.
Oh.
Oh no, Elliot Page. There'd be a good one, right? Oh, I guess she's older than that, so that wouldn't.
Anyway,
work,
we have. I still don't get it. I think his tooth pops out at the end when he sees George Clooney. Now, that was a joke, referenced something earlier. It's just bad. Oh, look at deleted scenes. He's saying no.
No.
Do you think that the performance of this movie is going to affect the performance of future DC movies? And I'm not just talking about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I'm talking about maybe...
Guys, I'm telling you, Aquaman's dead on arrival too. Look, I think people are I have not heard any YouTubers or any media outlets talking about this, but the Ezra Miller effect is still going on. There are still people saying screw Ezra Miller. You know, there's no reason that Warner Brothers should continue with him when they dropped Johnny Depp. Screw Ezra Miller, we're not seeing this movie.
I saw one YouTuber saying that she'll never watch another DC movie again after The Flash. She's done. And I guess she's referring to the James Gunn movies coming out, or maybe she's... I mean, how many bad DC movies can there be before people finally decide I'm done? Period. With the brand.
Lester San Jose says, I didn't bother watching Black Adam. I'm going to watch it. I've got it coming from Netflix. A lot of you know. Until September, Netflix is still doing the DVD service. So I get the DVDs and I watch them and I send them back. And Black Adam is on its way and I will watch it. But I'm just doing that because Netter and I really did enjoy the first Captain Marvel, Shazam movie, and we just want to see the connection there. These are the only 3 Snyderverse films that I'm actually watching. You know, the Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and Black Adam. You know,
it's funny when Shazam came out because it could have almost been separated from the rest of the Snyderverse. It could have been its own thing
which I think is what they are doing with Blue Beetle.
Yeah,
you know, I think they are saying that Blue Beetle, you know, they may keep him in the Gunverse, whether or not all elements of the film are actually going to be canon, up to interpretation. They may retcon it later, but he may be the only one that makes the cut.
Were they planning to have Ezra Miller be part of the Gunverse?
F no. I think that Gunn a long time ago said nope. We're rebooting. We're recasting everybody.
So I guess Wonder Woman they'll get to at some point too. Of course, they're doing a TV show about Paradise Island.
I was just going to say, they're doing that whole Paradise Island thing. That is their reboot for Wonder Woman. They've already said that.
Okay.
So yeah. But again, I don't know, man. It's going to have to... So what is Gunn has said that the first movie of his new DC shared universe is going to be this Superman movie he's working on.
Yes.
They better friggin' knock it out of the park. If they don't, it's all DOA.
They're under the pressure. They know they have to make a movie that's going to hit it out of the park. I'm just wondering if they know how. Because did anybody at the studio, were they seriously thinking this Flash movie was good, or were they just trying to soften the landing?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. People say it's my favorite superhero movie this year. I don't know if they're being serious or if this is just a sales pitch.
So Fletcher Williams said, I don't think that Shazam was connected to the Snyderverse. I don't know why they didn't actually have Black Adam fighting Shazam. Makes no sense. I can speak to both of those points. It absolutely is part of the Snyderverse if you watch the last scene of the first film. The costume figure that walks in at the end, the Superman cameo, is absolutely Henry Cavill. It
He's
was
in the
actually
Henry Cavill
it was actually Henry Cavill in that costume. They cut off his head because of rights related issues and
What?
Yeah, they cut off his head. They just showed him from the neck down. There was
Wait a minute. They couldn't use Henry Cavill because they didn't want to pay him the money, or was this a?
It was there was a bunch of things behind the scenes related to contracts and
Oh, this is ridiculous.
it is friggin' ridiculous. But what's important is from the neck down, you see his costume. It is very clearly, regardless of who the actor was, it was very clearly the Snyderverse Man of Steel. So there is no doubt it is part of the... Plus, there's also little Easter eggs that, show that he was a fan of Superman and so on and so forth. And it was clearly that iteration of the Man of Steel. Yeah. As far as the Black Adam fighting Superman instead of Shazam, or not having enough connection to Shazam, yeah, you could blame The Rock Johnson for that. He's a dumbass. He was... This is Hollywood bureaucracy bullshit where he and Henry Cavill were trying to keep their jobs and thereby forcing, the square peg into the round hole of Black Adam being a Superman villain instead of Captain Marvel, which is what he's supposed to be. And I think Warner Brothers just said, fuck it, we don't give a shit anymore because we're done with y'all anyway. Whoops.
Also, no,
sorry,
we're never
Boomer,
going
I
to
can't hear you for a second. Give me a second. I just lost. I got so riled up, I knocked the earphone out of my ear. So, okay, I'm back.
Plus, we're not going to get that Mr. Mind story now, right?
Which did actually seem like a good hook. I was kind of interested in that, so...
I remember on Batman the Brave and the Bold when Batman's helping out Captain Marvel and the Marvel family face down Dr. Sylvana. And they're saying, I can't believe you came here by yourself. Batman says, a smart man would have brought backup. And he says, oh, I wish I was a smart man and thought of bringing backup. Oh, wait, I did. And then behind him is the Monster Society of Evil from the old Charlton.
Yeah. Right. That would be brilliant. So Lester San Jose says, I'm superheroed out in many ways. So Lester, let me challenge you on that. Think about this. This is, you don't have to get back to me on this. Just think about this. Is it really that you're tired of superhero films? Or are you just tired of bad superhero films?
Well, the trouble is, if that's all we can get, then people are going to be tired.
Yeah, so all of this, everybody's talking about, Marvel fatigue, right? No, nobody has Marvel fatigue. They're just tired of this woke, stupid, bad storytelling.
Directionless.
Yes.
It's been completely directionless since they're what's the
Look,
plan?
as soon as Jon Favreau left, it was just momentum taking him forward. And it's been downhill ever since. People are sick and we'll talk more about this on Sunday on Geeky Geezers. But the media right now is looking at The Flash and Elemental and all these other films that are coming out right now and saying, the theater is dead, cinema is dead, nobody wants to go to the movies anymore. And everyone's going, no, that is not it. We don't want to pay for this shit that Hollywood is putting out.
They'll find out once the truth once the Mission Impossible movie comes out.
Yes, we are waiting on Mission Impossible. People will flock to that because they'll be like, finally, an entertaining movie that's worth the $10 or whatever it is to go to the theaters these days.
I don't. Here's the problem. I think especially this applies to Disney. I think if they have the name slapped on something, they figure, okay, we earned the name, and now people will just see anything we throw with the title on. Look at Pixar. Pixar was a name. Pixar was not owned by Disney originally. I mean, they were a partner, and then they bought them out. But the Pixar name is meaningless now because none of the talent is there anymore.
Absolutely, and they keep losing money. Yeah, everyone is now associated Disney and Pixar with bad Not interested. Don't want my kids to see. Fletcher Williams says, I understand the cameos of Cavill and Godot in the second one, but standalone, no connection in the story. More like the Blue Beetle mentioning Batman just shows he knows about him, but not affected. Okay, so here's the difference. You mentioned Batman. Which Batman? Could be any Batman. Could be the new Batman that's coming up. Once you establish Cavill and Godot, as far as Hollywood and the studio and the general audience, that is Snyderverse. It is connected to that. I understand what you're saying, and they should be able to pivot and retcon and do things. That's not how Hollywood these days works. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. Scott Knudsen, welcome. I'm sorry if you were here earlier. I haven't been following the chat as well as I should. I think superheroes are suffering from the same thing sci-fi is. The movies were originally made by respectful fans and were great. Now by hacks who think the material is beneath them, so they suck.
When you have people saying that I'm writing this show and I've never read an issue of the comic book.
Yeah.
I've never read a comic book before.
The
Vision, I think the one person, one of it said I never read a comic book before. I think, yeah.
Scott, I agree with you 100%, but I'm going to add some nuance to that. There's more to it than that. I wouldn't say that they're respectful fans. They are professional storytellers. They are professional writers. So the example that I often use is Nicholas Meyer when he did Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. He was not a fan of Star Trek. He had never seen an episode of Star Trek. But as a professional going into a movie, he did his due diligence, and he went and he watched all the episodes of the original series, especially Space Seed. And he analyzed it as a storyteller, and he goes, I understand this. And so that is why Star Trek II not only is true to the source material, but it takes it up a notch.
Yeah.
It elevates it. Because he goes, not only am I going to get all the canon and the storytelling right in terms of, this is a sequel to that series, but I'm now, in a way, he was making it for a new audience, right? He was using the special effects he had at his disposal, better uniforms, better sets and whatnot, and he did it in such a way that it made sense in the canon. There was an upgrade of the ship, blah, 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 blah. Military units changed their uniforms from time to time. He knew what he was doing,
He wanted them to give it more of a naval look. That was what he was going
exactly.
for. Yeah.
Exactly. Which made perfect sense. And that's how you do it. You don't have to be a fan, so to speak, but you got to be a professional willing to put in the effort. If you're not, you should not be doing that thing. You need to, as a professional, take responsibility for what you are being put in charge of, right? If you are being put in charge of an intellectual property that's worth millions of dollars, or in modern dollars, billions of dollars, you need to do your research. You need to understand. You need to be Peter Jackson to the Lord of the Rings.
Nicholas Meyer, if you remember Star Trek 60 Undiscovered Country, when Kirk says second star to the right and straight until morning.
Yes.
It's a reference to Peter Pan. Nicholas Meyer has that in there because he's saying that the crew of the Starship Enterprise is as iconic to our culture as Peter Pan and Wendy and the Lost Boys. That's what he was making an argument there. He was saying these are
even though it was misquoted, because Peter Pan does not say second star to the right and straight on till morning. He says second to the right and straight on till morning.
Oh, I see.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe Disney did something different with, and I'm talking about the original stage play and the original book. Fletcher Williams is spot on when he's talking about no respect for the source material. But I would argue, again, it's not the same kind of respect we talk about as fans for the source material. All I'm asking for is that professional respect. Like I said, Nicholas Meyer with Star Trek, Richard Donner with Superman. You know, if you weren't a fan all your life, you've been given the keys to a kingdom. Know the kingdom before you start making edicts. Is all anybody is saying. But you know, you're right. The modern writers don't even know how to write to begin with. All they know is how to be Mary Sue character creators and, you know, apologists for the modern thing. You know, they don't know how to tell stories. All they know is how to destroy and undermine what went before them because, you know, they have way too much pride and not enough humility to, you know, to tell a good story. But Star Trek II is a great example. Most talent today just assumes they know better, and they twist the material to their own highly questionable taste and say, yeah, exactly what I was just saying, Scott. Yes, you're absolutely right. We are absolutely simpatico on that. So, yeah. So, you know, and I have no particular qualms with Warner Brothers. You know, it's not like Disney when it comes to me. Disney is not getting a single dollar from me. I will not see a Star Wars movie. I will not subscribe to D-. I will not go see another Marvel film. Not since the Endgame. I am done with Marvel. I will not support a company that is actively trying to undermine the values of our country and support bad things related to children. Right. They have become the exact opposite of what Disney is meant to be. Warner Brothers hasn't been doing a good job, has lost his way, and I've had a great deal of criticism. Hell, you guys that have followed me long enough know I've been complaining ever since Smallville about the peas and carrots issue. Yeah, they've had an opportunity that Marvel didn't. Long ago, they could have, ever since the days of Michael Keaton, they could have started a shared universe if they wanted to. Because they have always, Warner Brothers, when they acquired DC Comics, they owned them lock, stock, and barrel. There was none of this, well, Universal has the rights to the Hulk and the Fantastic Four, and this 20th Century Fox has the X-Men, and Sony has Spider-Man, and we have this, and this. And they had to acquire parts of companies and get these things back in order to get them all under the same umbrella. Warner Brothers never had that problem. But yet, they acted like they did, and Wonder Woman characters could never interact with Batman characters, could never interact with Superman characters, and if it was in the TV, it couldn't interfere with what was going on in the movies, and it was... You own it all. There are no issues. What is wrong with you people? No, I can't let the peas and the carrots touch the gravy from my Salisbury steak.
It's interesting that you brought up I forget. Never mind. That slipped my mind.
What, when I was mentioning the whole Marvel separation being brought back to Disney?
Spider-Man. They wanted to make a Spider-Man movie back in the 80s, but the rights were so screwed up, even just with Spider-Man. Finally, Sony was able to do one, but you realize we would have gotten a Spider-Man movie a lot sooner.
It was especially hard with Marvel because, think about it. Okay, so the Kingpin. The Kingpin is a villain character.
Yes.
Who is he a villain of? This is a trick question.
Daredevil.
Kind of.
And
but he was always often a villain of Spider-Man as well. Who is Doctor Doom a villain of?
Fantastic Four.
Mostly, but he was also a villain of the Avengers and of
Wasn't he also of the X-Men?
Well, he has interacted with the X-Men, but yeah, you know, there's a lot of crossover. Marvel did a great job of cross-integrating their characters within the comics, but then when they started licensing these characters out to movie companies, that makes that intricate web very difficult to untangle.
Now I want to know how Doctor Doom got on with Magneto. I'm kind of curious. About that.
Keeping in mind that Doctor Doom was very much focused on his own country. You know, this is the other thing that separates Marvel from DC, and that's that Marvel's villains, who are the villains and who are the heroes, very much depends on the era the story's being told in, what title they're in, and, you know, whose perspective you're looking at. Because Magneto has been both a hero, has been a hero, a villain, and an anti-hero in many different stories. Wanda, we bitch about her being a villain in her most recent Disney D- series, but she started out as a villain in Marvel Comics. Namor, or Namor, if you want to go by what they're doing currently in the movies, was a villain to the Fantastic Four initially. The Punisher was a villain in a Spider-Man comic initially. So a lot of villains end up becoming, if not heroes, at least anti-heroes later on. Venom was a Spider-Man villain who ended up becoming kind of a quasi-anti-hero.
Who likes seeing people? I'm sorry.
I eat your brain, Spider-Man.
There was back to the movies.
Going back to, you know, because I like to talk about the toys very often, there was in the late 80s, early 90s, a series of Marvel action figures where they put out a version of Venom that had one of those talkie boxes. And one of the things that he said was, "I eat your brain, Spider-Man." And a lot of parents were like, it kind of had a problem with that. It's like, that's kind of not cool. It's like,
I remember the controversy. Yes, I remember when that was out. Yes,
but yeah. So I was like, man, if you got that, make sure you hold on to it. Take care of that little piece of toy history. But and the tragedy there is that the DC animated shows of the 90s showed that at least somebody working there. Yeah, this is one of the things that Boomer and I, along with Mr. Matchstick, have been talking. They've been kind of pushing me to watch some of those 90s animated features from DC. And I've been very pleased with them.
Well, actually, those aren't from the 90s. Those animated.
Some of those are later, yeah.
We've been watching. They're actually post DC animated series.
Yeah.
See, they stopped with the series and they said we're going to do these standalone movies that aren't connected to anything.
Which,
that's the original idea.
Okay, you're right, but it's also true. The Batman the Animated Series and Superman,
that's where you start
Justice
with the
League
series. Yeah.
Yeah, all of that, everything that I've seen of those was just great. And yeah, a lot of people have been saying, get those writers and put them in the movies, you know?
Here's a problem. I think a lot of those writers just aren't working. I don't know if they're retired. I know Bruce Timm, I think, is going to be helping with that animated Batman series they're doing for Amazon that Abrams is involved with. But, Paul Dini, I think a lot of the talent with a lot of these things is not necessarily working anymore on this stuff. Maybe they can drag him out again. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
well, keep in mind, all the real talent, they want to push them out of the industry because they're just, they're old white men, and we got to get rid of those guys. We got to bring in the diversity hires, to build our submarines when they have no engineering degree and kill a bunch of billionaires. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Heard about
Got
that.
off topic there, but yeah.
Disaster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a story for another night. But this is what you get when you going with the diversity hires and the tokenization. And hey, look at how virtuous I am for hiring a person that has this skin color or this gender or this political belief. Oh, but you don't like the product that they're putting out?
Well, I think
you
another
must
thing
be an
that happened was-
istophobe then.
I think the guy running the company didn't want the young people looking up to the old white guy. I think that was something that I'd heard, and it was
Yeah,
like,
I honestly, if I'm going to put my life on the line in a tin can and go, down to crush depths, I don't give a flying fig what gender, race, color, religious persuasion the person is. They better be the best damn engineer in the world. That's all I care about. I care about the results. Just saying. But what do I know? I'm not a billionaire, I guess if you got to go, instantaneous is probably the way to go, right? But sorry, totally got off topic, but
no, it's fine.
but it's this concept of diversity hires. You get what you pay for, so to speak, and they're pushing the talent out in favor of dumbasses that are putting out, Bud Light. All the companies are going the way of Bud Light. No shocker here. It's not superhero fatigue. It's woke fatigue. It's bad storytelling fatigue. That is the problem that we're having now, folks.
What does Warner Brothers have besides DC as far as stuff that can really bring people in? I mean, I know they're doing a Beetlejuice sequel that was mentioned.
There's that. There's all the Looney Tunes. If you want to bring
do anything with the Looney Tunes, what are these? They did this Space Jam sequel, which nobody liked,
which sucked. Yeah, which absolutely sucked. But we're missing out on all of the Looney Tunes stuff and all that kid related stuff that they could be doing. I mean,
Scooby-Doo.
Is that Warner Brothers?
Yes.
That's
it used to be Hanna-Barbera. Warner Brothers bought out Hanna-Barbera.
That is very much too bad. Because that's a great example of killing another franchise.
Yes, with that Velma series. So,
no, it's.
I feel like Zaslav hasn't cleaned house as much as I was hoping he was going to. I know they are trying to go a new direction with DC movies, but is that direction going to be any good? I don't know.
Well, I did hear the speculation, and this is pure speculation based on absolutely nothing. But what if they're just throwing together a bunch of DC films to highlight characters that have not been featured before, just to position to say, hey, look what we got here with DC Comics. Anyone want to buy it?
Just like, hey, look at this great Flash movie we made. Anybody want to go see it? I think you do. And it's like, I
think that's an example of we're stuck with this piece of shit. We need to do something with it and minimize the loss as much as possible. Lester brings up Thundar the Barbarian. Look, guys, I am not a huge fan of the concept of, live action remakes. But Thundar the Barbarian is one I would not mind seeing in live action. That would be a great place to start.
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
Well, Warner Brothers owns a lot. I just don't know. I don't know what the vision is for the company right now. I feel like they're still all over the place. I know that.
Yeah. Tim Hayes points out that William Hanna and Joseph Barbera passed away, and so their family, is doing the same thing with these IPs that the Tolkien estate did. Nobody cares; they just want the money, so they sell it.
It's in defense of the Tolkien estate. Christopher held onto it for a while, but he died eventually too.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It made it a second generation because Christopher was very, very involved. I just watched a great YouTube video talking about the cartography, the maps of Middle Earth, and really, J.R.R. Tolkien was not a cartographer. He literally enlisted Christopher to do all that. It was really Christopher that did all of that.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was very, very involved in that. So I don't think people give him enough credit. They think of him as the preserver of his father's work. They don't realize how much he actually contributed to his father's work. And there was a lot of things that his father would like just kind of bounce off of him. In I was thinking of this and would tell him stories and he would say, nah, I think this, and then it would make it to paper and whatnot. People don't give Christopher enough credit. But yeah, but I want to not end this stream on a down note. I do want to kind of give you a bit of a white pill, kind of give you some hope, and say, look, we live in the post-Bud Light era, okay? And when you look at Bud Light and you look at Target and you look at so many other companies that are organically getting shut down by the vast majority of consumers, these companies have no choice. They will be defunded. Even Vanguard has backed off of their woke push. And lately BlackRock has started to blink. These are the hugest companies, and they are getting concerned because you can't push an agenda if you don't have an influx of capital. And we control the capital. We decide what we spend our money on. And look, guys, if you are going to this movie because you feel some obligation, because you have some past love for Disney, because you have some, undying love for the DC superhero characters or whatever, and you're hoping beyond hope that maybe this movie will be better. Just remember the guy who went to the refrigerator and found the milk spoiled and chunky and said, yeah, I'll just put it back and maybe it'll be better tomorrow. It doesn't get better. You throw that milk out and get new milk, okay? You throw out the people that are making these shit films, force them into retirement, and that's the only way we bring about change. You withhold your money until you start to actually see them turn around.
And to be fair, I think a lot of people are taking that cue. I mean,
most are. You're absolutely right. That's the white pill, Boomer.
Yeah.
Is that this is an organic thing. This is not left, right, religious, non-religious. This is everybody saying we're done with this. This insanity. Stop the insanity. Like Susan Powder used to say. There's a deep cut for you 80s people. Check that one out. But you know what I'm talking about, right?
I do. That was funny. Yeah.
But so I do think that look, this Ezra Miller thing, it's done. It's over. They were just throwing it out there because what else were they going to effing do with it? And they're looking to move on. But I did. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'm just going to say, what's the future for Ezra Miller's career, do you think?
Oh, it's done. Because he's not even that good. It's not like he was, he's not a Marlon Brando who went insane, but, was still just, he was Marlon Brando. So,
right.
He's not like that. He wasn't even good. The only reason this movie came out was because it was done. It was finished and done. And they were like, we can't recast him. We can't do nothing with it. We spent millions of dollars on this film. Let's just release it and take what we can get, And let's face it, when they lose money on it, they take it as a tax write-off. So, yes, they're losing, but they're not losing that bad. But they also know that this is not the cornerstone of anything going forward. It's just getting it freaking done, right? Yeah. Cut the cord. Exactly right. A lot of mainstream outlets and sources. Yeah, absolutely. This is why, when people say, what are you watching on TV? Nothing. You know, what movies have you gone to see? None. You know, I'm watching all the ones that are right behind Netter over there, you know, and the ones that you all recommend to me. You know, a lot of you know that Netter and I just recently saw John Wick because you guys recommended it so highly, and it was really, really good. It was really good. We'll be watching the second one real soon.
That almost felt like something that was based on a comic book, even though I don't think it was.
Well, Netter hit it right on the head. She compared it to the Punisher, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's a lot like the Punisher, you know.
And even the rules of the Assassins organization, like they even had their own currency. That was a thing going on, and there was that was interesting. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to the future ones. And I guess my understanding is they get more and more, you know, off the rails as it goes, but it's still enjoyable. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. That's going to be fun. I still have to watch part 4. Yeah.
Oh, you haven't seen 4 yet? I've heard it was good, but not as good as the previous ones. But, you know, whatever. But I guess a lot of people this summer, this is going to be a shit summer for movies, but we do have Mission Impossible coming out. And everything is indicating that's going to be the breakaway hit of the summer.
Also, Oppenheimer is coming out too, which I'm curious about. So,
well, you know how I am with those historical pieces; it better be spot on.
Well, it's done by Christopher Nolan. He did Dunkirk. Was Dunkirk accurate?
It was, but Christopher Nolan, I respect his conviction about practical effects, but growing up, going to a trade school, you know, I had a shop teacher who his catchphrase that he drummed into all of us is the right tool for the right job, right? You don't drive a screw with a hammer, right? The right tool for the right job. And I feel like I understand. I know you feel this way, Boomer. You probably support Nolan on this and practical effects and so forth. But when you have a good tool in your arsenal, use it. And why do I bring this up in reference to Dunkirk? There is a scene in Dunkirk where they talk about the number of soldiers on the beach. And they show the beach. And the number of soldiers they show is not on that beach.
Right.
Because they didn't have enough extras. And it's like, this is where you drop in CG extras. That's okay.
Right.
You know?
That's where you do it.
If you can't do it technically, you do it, you know, with the CG or whatever. So we'll see. You know, but you're right. By and large, but the historical points of that movie, really, really good. And the only minor places that they deviate from history were so minor, the reason that they were done outweighs, you know, the in quotes inaccuracy of it, if you understand my meaning.
Yeah.
You know.
Plus, I do disagree with him trying, you know, setting off an actual atom bomb just to get a shot. You know?
right? Exactly. No.
I'm not saying that happens.
You know,
as far as I know, it does.
There is one story. I did a watch. Well, not. I don't think it was a watch party. No, we did a review on Pops on Pop Culture about Dunkirk, and he brought me in specifically because he knew I was, you know, the history guru, right? And there was he went out of his way. All the planes that he used were as accurate as possible, but there was one plane, and I'm forgetting the make of the plane, that there was no analog for. There was one, the Canadians had a version that was close enough to the British version that once it was mocked up, you couldn't tell the difference. But there was one plane that they needed for certain key shots that just, they could not find a practical, you know, real world version of it. So they used a remote control model and forced perspective. And it was spot on. It was really good.
That's neat.
Yeah. I love that. And you know, like you've often said, Boomer, there's things about practical effects that you can't reproduce in CG. The weight of the item and the motion and, you know, things like that. And so I appreciate that. But yeah, when you look at the beach, there should have been. It was important to see all the soldiers, because all those soldiers are about to get bombed, and they're trying to get to ships to get off the beach. And if it's just 12 guys, it's like, damn it, just send one schooner and they're okay. You know, I mean, it kind of undermines the whole point of this, the Dunkirk evacuation, you know. but yeah, okay, I'm sorry, I've gotten totally off on a tangent.
Oh, it's cool.
Oh yeah. Kubrick would have shot 2001 in space if he could. Nolan is like him. He crashes a full-scale plane for, oh my gosh, that I was blown away when I found out that scene in the Batman movie with the Joker where he flips the semi. They really did that with a real semi. It's like, holy shit! And he did it on a Chicago street. I'm like, yeah, I'll bet that street is still cracked and it hasn't been fixed yet because it's Chicago. But anyway, so that is our topic for the night. Have I missed anything, Boomer, that we wanted to cover about the Flash? We're not going to probably talk too much about it now on Sunday. We've covered it so thoroughly here, but we'll just kind of touch on it and say it's not doing well in the theaters. And,
we got other stuff to talk about Sunday.
Got
anyway.
plenty of other stuff to talk about. You're absolutely right. But
yeah, all I know is that we were waiting for this movie to come out, and it finally did. And I was not expecting it to be, from the sound of it, to be as bad as it was. We didn't talk about Supergirl at all, the Supergirl in it, but Troy is not here. At any rate,
Yeah, he accidentally knocked himself out. He'll be back here in a second.
all right. How you doing, Netter?
I'm doing good. I just found out I have 250 subs.
That's good.
Yeah, 50 more subs, and I'll get prizes.
You can give out prizes again.
Yep, every time I hit a milestone, I'll get prizes.
Signed photographs of Ezra Miller, right? I'm kidding. No.
So make sure that you subscribe to Netter's Network so we can give away. I'm sorry, I'm an idiot.
there was one thing we didn't mention about the Flash movie, I guess, because I didn't hear either positives or negatives about her, but the Supergirl they had in the movie.
Oh yeah. So
hopefully she'll get other parts.
Well, I was gonna say, it turns out, everything I've seen about her is she was like one of the bright points of the film, and she really is a lovely girl. And my only problem with it is it's very clear that she was the Injustice version of Supergirl, and specifically the Lara Kent incarnation, and yet apparently they're trying to pass her off as Kara in this one. It's like that makes zero sense at all.
In a prior script, that's who she was supposed to be, and it got changed again.
Yeah, probably, exactly. So, but all
right,
yeah. So that is the show for tonight. So tomorrow night, over on Netter's Network, Netter, what are we doing tomorrow night on your channel? As if I didn't know because I just dropped the link.
Tomorrow night we're chitty chitty bang bang chitty chitty bang bang.
We love you, absolutely. I'm looking forward to that. I haven't seen that movie in years. It's going to be a lot of fun. So over on Netter's Network, 9 Central, 10 Eastern. Netter and Big Al. It'll be a great watch party. And then Sunday, if I got my times right, that's 7 Central, 8 Eastern. Am I right? That is Unscripted with Deleted Scenes, episode 19. Why physical media is king. Own physical media, people, so they can never take it away from you in this age of digital downloads that they can write over and take away from you anytime they freaking want to. But that is the official lead into Geeky Geezers over on this Geeky Geezers channel, Age of Boomers. We don't have the link up yet because I haven't put the notes together, so he hasn't had a chance to put the stream up yet, but that will be up probably tomorrow night, and just subscribe to his channel. You'll always want to be there on Sunday for Geeky Geezers when we bring you the week's geeky news. some of which is covered by other channels, I'm sure in great detail, but I'm sure we bring a very different perspective.
We catch stories that I think
we get a lot of coverage of topics that other channels don't cover because it's what we're interested in and not necessarily the general.
Like a certain actress saying some nice things about Tom Cruise, hoping for a partnership in a movie at some point.
That's a cool little story.
Which I don't think was mentioned on any of these other things. And you know what? I think it's ScarJo, and I'll get into this on Sunday. But I'm thinking
there's probably a reason that not a lot of people are talking about ScarJo, but but she knows what side her bread is buttered on. She knows why she's not getting a lot of calls from Hollywood right now. So she's going where the money is.
I think this is smart.
Yeah,
I think her reaction and Cruz's reaction are smart.
Yep.
I think they're in positions where they can actually help each other out, which I think is kind of interesting.
And they can kind of lift the middle finger to the establishment.
Yes.
Which at this point is probably the best financial thing to do, surprisingly. And then later, after Geeky Geezers, 11 Central, 12 Eastern, over on Deleted Scenes, The Other Side of Midnight. I mean, it's tough. I jump over there to say hi. I can't stay late on a work night, but nonetheless, it is a very, very good stream, so it's worth it. Do we know about anything Monday through Wednesday? Anything going on?
No. In fact, keep Birdman in your prayers if you could, just because he's having some health issues, but hopefully he's going to be getting some good answers on those when he goes talks to the professionals.
Yeah. He's good people, but that's also why hasn't been super consistent with his channel because
keep him in your thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, because he's struggling. So good thoughts for him, man. And so that brings us to Thursday. Thursday, what's going on Netter's Network?
Next week,
she's double checking, right?
No, next week on. I'm like really tired, so my words are not.
I know you didn't get a nap tonight. Thursday things on Netter's Network.
Things, that's what it's called. I will have special guest Fletcher Williams. I suck at games channel.
Yep.
And we're going to find out why he sucks at games.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to know why.
Exactly.
And is it just specific games, or is it all games?
Yeah.
Curious minds want to know.
So that'll be Thursday on Netter's Network, which brings us around to next Friday, and it will not be a live stream next week. It will be Memorex, in fact, and I don't know what the topic is, but it will be pre-recorded. So please still come back next week. But and by all means, if you want to buy me a drink, you certainly can. Anytime between now and then. Link is at the top of the chat or in the description below if you want to buy me a drink and request a particular song, please do so. But next week I will be out of town. Netter and I will be visiting CK, longest running superhero role-playing game in history, and his Dungeons and Dragons game as he renews his vows.
Lester San Jose bought you a drink.
Oh, Lester San Jose, thank you so much. I hope that you said in a little note when you did that what drink you wanted to buy me.
It just says drinks.
Okay. If you want to drop in the chat right now real quick what drink you would like to see me drink and maybe what song you think would pair well with that drink, let me know. Otherwise, I will figure it out myself, and that is what I will drink on stream in the pre-recorded Friday stream next week.
See, now you need to make some margaritas because I want a margarita.
You're going to have to do that because I don't want to have to pull out the blender.
The blender's running on the counter.
Okay. Yeah, margaritas might be fun. But, okay. Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you so much, Lester. Super, super appreciate it. Surprise me, he says. Okay, I will surprise you.
It's a nice, cool summer drink.
Okay, so maybe it will be a margarita. Oh, I guess you could probably guess what song I'll be singing too. So there you go. So that's next Friday, and that is the week in review. And any last words?
Well, actually, the drink won't be next Friday. It'll be the week after, since we won't.
No. I got to pre-record the show for Friday, so we'll still do that.
Okay.
But any last words and thoughts, Agent Boomer?
No, nothing. Tune in, like I said, tune in Sunday. You'll hear us again. And also tune in on next Friday. There will be a good pre-recorded show there for you. It'll be special.
Well, we hope it'll be good. That's the plan anyway. We never planned to make crappy shows. But there you go. And, of course, Netter, you want to take us out?
Of course. As I always say, and y'all know what I always say.
I do.
We can talk amongst ourselves, and that's all well, good and fun. But it is so much more fun when you guys are joining us in the chat. You're dropping your questions, your comments, your trivia, you're being goofy, whatever it may be. And it doesn't feel like we're separated by miles or continents in some cases, because I know some of y'all are overseas.
Yeah.
It feels like we're all hanging out in the same room, just enjoying each other's company and having a great time. And you're not just our friends. You are our family. We appreciate you and we love you very much. And you know, you could be spending your time doing anything right now, and you choose to be here with us. And that is so encouraging. Thank you so much, and we will definitely see you next time.
Yep. Thanks, everyone. And yeah, that family thing is so true. I hang out with you guys every Friday, here, Sunday on Agent Boomer's channel, Saturdays on Netter's and Al's channels. So I hang out with you guys more than I actually hang out with my blood relatives. I am going to get to see my mom and my uncle this weekend, but that's the first time in years actually that I've gotten a chance to hang out with them. So super appreciate all of you. They say that friends are the family you choose for yourself, and so glad you guys all chose us. So thanks so much. Have a great week. Look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care, everyone.
Good night, ladies.
Good night, sir.
Hit it, sweetheart.